It's a beautiful, quiet morning here in my rural mountain holler town. I wanted to show everybody the beautiful sky before I talk about something a little serious this morning. So let's look at this beautiful sky together. Check out the beautiful horizon before the sun comes up. Let's just enjoy it all together. This is a nice spot to take a long view because there's a single tree over here that I like. I've walked out to sit under that tree before, but it's private property, so I don't like doing that very often. But isn't that beautiful over there? Just take a look at that. What a beautiful place and a lovely morning. Look at these gorgeous clouds. I think this is one of the main reasons they call it God's country out here, because look at that. Doesn't that look like artwork you would see on a Christian motivational poster or something like that? Isn't that beautiful? Okay. We are going to take a quick walk away from this because this morning I would like to answer a few questions that I have had both privately and through comments and on Twitter and other platforms that I am on. The topic for this morning that I want to talk about is demographic change. That's something that people have asked me many questions about, and some people in the white positive sphere seem to be, let's say, a little too zealotous when it comes to wanting to live in a racially homogenous ethno-state. And there are other people who are more libertarian and centrist-leaning who seem to disagree with me about caring about ethnicity or race at all. And I would like to speak to both of those things. And I think this is a good spot, so we're going to stand here off the road. The reason that I am against mass migration, the reason that I believe we need to end all immigration for the foreseeable future, and the reason that I say what I do about demographic change, race, ethnicity, incompatible religions, is because of the way we have seen societies collapse in the last 50 to 60 years, and because specifically, there's a loud truck coming. I'm going to have to pause again. Okay, there it goes. Okay, it's quiet again. The reason that I say what I do about demographic change, race, ethnicity, religions being incompatible is because we have seen so many times in the last 50 or 60 years spikes in crime rate, violence, terrorism, spikes in property values, other things that are directly damaging to community and break apart the cohesive quality required to have a functional nation. We see this in pretty much every major city in Canada, the UK, America, probably in other countries too if I studied them. The reason that this occurs is not because necessarily of race or religion. It's because every nation has to have an ethnocentric push, an avenue that they follow to be healthy. We call this the biospirit, we call this the spirit of the West, that kind of thing. When you have the vast majority of your populace, mostly of the same sentiment, mostly of the same religion, mostly of the same traditional norms, mostly of the same everything, then you can have some people that are immigrants. You can have people that are Islam, that are Muslim, that might be Sikh, that might be a different race, as long as they adapt and align, or assimilate rather, to what the host culture is, the host population is. The modern era of mass migration, the hollowing out of people, they don't have religion anymore, the concept of family values and wanting to be a parent is falling apart, the era of mass corporatization has basically destroyed the ability to have a successful small business for most people. It's really destroyed the ability for people to just quote-unquote get a job and be able to afford a family and to afford anything other than just basic necessities of living. That hollows people out spiritually anyway, even if things were already fine in regards to demographics. But then you start adding demographic change on top of that. So you have a fractured, decaying, broken people that are the host population who are rapidly being replaced by people in large cohesive groups into their major metropolitan areas who do not assimilate, who do not align with the archetype of the West, who do not care about Christian values or even care at all why this country was formed or what made it great to begin with. Many people just don't know and they don't care. They can't care unless there's a healthy parent population, a healthy host population, to force them to assimilate and force them to learn these values. But those values are being purged out of us because of the cancer that's been infecting us for the last 80 or 90 years. The Soviet cancer, Marxism, whatever you want to call it. The cancer that has hollowed us out for so many years, that on top of the mass migration is killing us. So that's why I speak out the way I do. It's also why I temper what I say whenever I hear some people that I'm now associated with glorifying an ethno-state or seemingly making jokes or memes about ethnic purity or ethnic cleansing, that kind of thing. I don't support that stuff. Not only is it unethical and wrong, and we shouldn't do it, but it's unfeasible. To think that in the modern era that you or anyone else is going to elect a politician or create some kind of counter group that is going to possibly create a white ethno-state in England, Canada, or America is laughably stupid, and you shouldn't think or want those things. Not only do they involve things that are ethically wrong, and we shouldn't do them, but it's unfeasible. We're not going to be able to do that. So that's why we have to push the no white guilt meme to help normal people wake up and realize that the Achilles heel that's being exploited in us by globalists and other enemies we have is our kind nature, our charity, our sympathy for others. And we need to wake people up to that, shore them up, fix that Achilles heel, and help them start to heal. And then, beyond that, we need to work towards, in the political zeitgeist, we need to work towards more ethnocentrism. And that doesn't mean ethnic purity or anything extreme. Ethnocentrism is normal. That's what builds a nation, is an ethnicity, as I've stated many times in my long, complex videos. Ethnicity is what builds a nation. It's your race, your traditional norms, your religion, your values. All of that stuff becomes the ethnicity. And that is what a nation is built around. And you have to have only one of those. No nation has ever been built with multiple competing ethnicities. One has to have dominance, and then everything else has to ethnocentrically align to that archetype for there to be a successful nation. I believe that's why Jason Kuna, his Go Free book, is, I think the actual full title is Alignment to the Archetype of the West. And that's a beautiful way to say it, because that is an academic and easy to understand at the same time way to talk about the reason that people like to say the spirit of the West or the American dream, that kind of thing. It's the archetype of a Westerner. And you can be black or Asian or whatever and believe in those things and be an ally of Westernkind. Nothing says you can't do that. That's why I think if you get caught up on racial purity and ethnic cleansing and that kind of stuff, you're just romanticizing evils of the past, and you shouldn't do that. So hopefully that will help some of you more understand the why and the philosophy behind the things I've been making videos on the last several months. So, that being said, I have spoken enough. We are going to wrap up this video by simply enjoying nature and looking at some of the beautiful houses around here. So, let's get to that. I came from that way because I live about a mile over that hill. So there's that big house we saw earlier. In earlier videos, I mean. Those are the back of the homes that I go to a lot. And that cluster over there is the couple of acres that I'll walk around inside sometimes and make videos in. I don't think you can hear it because the speaker won't pick it up, but you can also hear more bullfrogs just over the hill there at the pond that we went to a couple days ago. I sure do love this area. I'm very thankful to be here. I hope that all of you watching, I hope that you and your loved ones, your families, your children, I hope that one day you too can have a wonderful, safe area to live in. An area where you can feel connected to God and country. An area where you can feel healthy, connected to others. We all need that. We should all strive for that. And I think that's where we're going to end it today. So I'm going to sweep back around in front of this. All right. Thank you all for joining me for a serious, heartfelt conversation this morning, but I feel like it was one I needed to have. So until next time, goodbye and God bless.